All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. Coming into the day, I ended up taking one trade, which was a break-even trade. So, coming into the day here, I am bullish. Why am I bullish? Again, we're getting displacement higher. I can be bearish until we form bearish price action, right? Again, we had news at 10 a.m., so I want to see, again, we're so close to all-time highs. Like, bro, we're literally right there. So, I'm not going to be bearish until, like, price tells me otherwise. Again, obviously now we're bearish, but it's 11:40. I'm not gonna trade anymore. So coming into the morning here, again I grabbed the 4-hour intermediate term low. So let me just kind of delete this stuff here. This low to this high. Boom, boom. Okay. I was looking for longs. So what did we do here? We tap into this 15-minute right here inside of equilibrium. Highlight that. We sweep this 15-minute low. Put in the SMT. Again, and what is 10 a.m. doing? Opens low. So what am I going to do? If we get a 10 a.m. open low, I'm expecting a high close, especially when we come into this range, into this range, into equilibrium, into a higher time frame PDRA, which was an hourly gap, and we get a sweep with an SMT. Okay. Boom. Now what am I looking for? High time frame inversion, which was this 2-minute IFVG right there. Again, the only thing I didn't like about this trade is we kind of consolidated, right? Well, right here's consolidation. We create the sweep, create the SMT. This is not that bad. Again, what do? Create this order block. Price holds the order block, and then we're displacing higher. If you look at the 1 minute, what do? On the 1 minute, we're holding this BISI and BISI. Again, what made me doubt this trade is that the 10:30 opened higher, so like that made me doubtful. But then price ended up inversing and closing above this order block here. So again, as you can see, we wick, and then finally we get that close above. Again, I didn't want to just see an inversion. I want to see a close above this down close move, because then I know we have this whole area of protection, these gaps and these order blocks and the rejection block. Like in theory, we shouldn't even go below this, but again, because of the chop, I put my stop loss down here just to make sure. So I enter long, put my stop loss down here. I wanted to give this a little bit more wiggle room, and I was targeting this. TP1 would have been this intermediate term high, would have taken half off, and then the rest there. As you can see, we went long, and what did price do? We ended up souping the 10:30 equal lows. We souped it, then we went long. Once we took this high, I moved my stop down here. Once we took after this low, took this high, and then we closed above, I moved my stop fully, literally right here. And then price ended up going higher. We hit our break even, which was these equal highs right here. This was break even inside of this 4-minute intermediate term high, which could be a turtle soup, and then mitigate 10 a.m. to be moved back down to the downside, right? Again, I did have a little bit of doubt in this trade because we created this 15-minute bearish breaker, but I felt like it made no sense because 10 a.m. is opening lower, and we're inside of this bullish range. So once we get 10 a.m. open lower, we sweep sell side, create SMT, and then start inversing and displacing higher. And if we have equal highs, I felt really confident in this trade. I just didn't like the chop, so that's why I gave this space a bit of wiggle room. I was a little like cautious about it. I was like, damn, I don't really like this. I don't love it, but I can see why this works. Like there is an SMT here, there is a sweep, there is a rejection block. Bullish PDRAs are holding. It's just not that fast of delivery. So I've seen it many times where we inverse and then we get the fast delivery, and then we like literally pop up to the upside, especially when 10 a.m. is opening lower. I wanted to give this a try. If 10 a.m. wouldn't have opened lower and would have gotten 10 a.m. open high here, I would have been a little bit more risk off. But the fact is that 10 a.m. opened lower, and I adjusted to that. So then what did price ended up doing? I said this was going to be turtle soup, and then what did we end up doing here? Let me just kind of delete all this. We created a 5-minute change in state of delivery, and right here, let me just put it as buy side, doesn't matter. CISD. Boom. Oops. Okay. We created this 5-minute CISD, and at the time, again, I'm not a CISD trader, but I did look at this, and I was thinking this intermediate term high would be turtle soup, and then will fall. I called this out like while I was trading live. Again, I don't trade turtle soups, but I was under the assumption, since again 10 a.m. mitigated. We mitigated 10 a.m. and then we fall displacing lower, right? We have this bearish breaker. We mitigate 10 a.m. and then immediately change the state back to the downside, meaning this breaker is holding. 10 a.m. is we get open low, but now we create the wick for the, again, we have the manipulation move, meaning this is manipulation. We create this sweep of the high for a 4-minute SIBI is holding, and now we're displacing to the downside, creating a 5-minute change in state delivery. So I'm just looking at for a lower time frame, and of course, again, it ends up hitting. Again, I don't trade CISD, so this was just a tape read for me. I don't really care about stuff like this. This would have been a good trade. And again, my target for the day is the London session low and this equal lows right here on ES, which is this 4-hour intermediate term low. Because now that we're displacing lower, we have this low resistance. It's high probability we go lower, right? Again, what did I wanted to see after? So again, personally, I wanted to see this 5-minute get tapped in right here before getting this move back down. So this is what I was looking for at the time. I was looking for this. So because now what are we doing? Now we have a close below here. So the breaker is holding, right? This high trade. This breaker is holding. Boom. Now we displace close below the low. We are clearly bearish here, right? So now I wanted to see a tap back in here, inversion back down, equal lows was going to be my break even, and then I would wait for London session low and Asia low to be taken, right? Again, that's what I wanted to see, and then as you can see, we ended up falling, and I don't know what we're doing now. Again, it's 11:49. I'm not gonna sit here, and again, it's past my trading time. I don't really see anything I like. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day. Again, I'll see if I end up seeing the rest of this play out. Again, if we end up going higher here and then create like a 5-minute range inside of this, I can take some shorts, maybe target this. But again, I'm under the assumption that most likely ES is gonna take this, and then the model of the day is gonna be done. So yeah, or if anything, ES takes this during lunch, and then we put in this SMT. This is kind of what my mind is at a little bit more. This is kind of what my mind is leaning more into, if I'm being honest, because 11 AM open lower, so we might kind of just mitigate or something like this, and then inverse higher, create the breaker, 5-minute range, inverse, and then we'll have something like this where we create SMT. This is something that I would rather take in the PM session, this internal market maker buy model, because now we would have SMT'd this, and if we would have grabbed this range from here to here, this would be SMT. Again, range, equilibrium, higher time for PD rate, sweep. Now we would need the highest time for inversion, which would be 15-minute, creating a breaker, and then another range on the 5-minute. Again, breaking it down, time frame alignment, and then again, all this would be, again, I would partial here one, and then let the rest ride to those highs. Again, that's how kind of I would approach it in the PM session. If we get something like this, we'll see what happens. Again, if I don't see anything clear, I'm just not gonna trade it. Okay, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed today's recap. Again, I took one trade, break even day. Nothing you can do. We just walk away. It's 11:50. I don't want to be part of this anymore. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.